Something has shifted, and you can feel it, even if nothing has been said out loud. There's a silence between you that feels heavier than words, like something real is trying to surface. What's happening right now isn't random or one-sided. It's the moment when emotions can no longer stay hidden. Somewhere, without admitting it yet, they are being pulled back to you. And this time, it's not confusion. It's truth trying to reveal itself. There comes a point in every human connection when something deeper can no longer stay quiet. What you're feeling right now isn't imagination or wishful thinking. It's the subtle yet powerful shift that happens when another person is being forced to face themselves because of you. Somewhere, in the quiet space of their mind, they are standing at a turning point, and that turning point is tied to you. They've tried to distract themselves, to explain things away, to believe that distance or silence would weaken whatever this is. But the mind doesn't work like that. The more they tried to push it down, the more it kept pulling them back toward you. That's because what you shared wasn't surface level. It reached parts of them that can't just be erased or ignored. Right now, they're not only thinking about you, they're also examining themselves. Their fears, old wounds, and personal limits are all rising up. You need to understand, this decision they're facing isn't simply about choosing you or leaving. It's about whether they are ready to confront who they really are. And that can feel far more overwhelming than love itself. A part of them feels drawn to you in a way that's hard to explain, almost like a magnetic pull. Your absence feels like something missing inside them. But at the same time, another part resists, because being with you would require honesty, vulnerability, and real change. And change, as always, is uncomfortable. It's painful, but necessary. You might even feel the shift in energy, heavier, more intense. That's because they've stopped running from the truth. They're sitting with it now. They're asking themselves why you're still on their mind, why your presence still lingers in their emotions, and why no one else has been able to replace what they felt with you. This is the moment before clarity. The mind can only struggle for so long before it has to make a choice. And whatever they choose will reveal who they truly are, not the version shaped by fear or ego, but the one aligned with something deeper. If they come back, it won't be out of convenience. It will be because they've fully understood your value and realized how rare the connection was. And if they walk away, it won't mean you lacked anything. It will simply mean they weren't ready for the kind of transformation that loving you required. So don't chase, don't force anything, and don't try to control how this unfolds. These things take time, and this process is bigger than either of you. Whatever happens will reflect the truth of the connection, not the illusions that once surrounded it. In the end, everyone has to choose between staying where it feels safe and familiar, or stepping into the unknown, where growth and real love exist. And right now, they're standing exactly at that edge, feeling the weight of a decision that could change everything. Inside them, there's a strong inner conflict that can't be ignored anymore. This isn't just confusion or a passing phase. It's a deep psychological tension that has been building for a long time. On one side, there's the part of them that feels pulled toward you, through emotion, memory, and a sense of familiarity that feels both comforting and intense. On the other side, there's fear. Past experiences and self-protection are telling them to stay guarded, to step back, to avoid the risk that comes with opening their heart. These two sides are clashing, creating pressure that demands resolution. They may try to focus on other things, to downplay what they feel, but the truth keeps coming back stronger. Because this isn't something external, it's happening within them at a deeper level where real change begins. This inner tension is exhausting. It shows up as distance, silence, and inconsistency. One moment they might seem close, almost ready to fully embrace what they feel, and the next they pull away as if something inside them holds them back. This isn't a game, and it's not manipulation. It's what happens when someone is trying to deal with two opposing truths at once. They feel the connection, but they're also afraid of what it asks from them. As this struggle grows stronger, it starts breaking down illusions. They can no longer pretend that you were just another person or that their feelings were temporary. They're being forced to see everything clearly, both you and themselves, and that clarity can feel overwhelming. Every memory, every interaction, every emotion connected to you is being revisited and felt more deeply. It's uncomfortable, but it's necessary. This kind of inner confrontation leads to real decisions, not impulsive reactions. So they remain in this space, caught between holding on and letting go, between fear and desire, between safety and transformation. And the very fact that this conflict exists says something important, because shallow connections don't create this kind of depth or struggle. Deep down, a part of them already understands how important this connection is, even if they're not fully ready to admit it yet. There comes a stage in every emotional experience where the confusion starts to fade, not because anything around them has changed, but because their mind can no longer carry the weight of uncertainty. That's where they are now. Clarity is slowly forming within them, like light breaking through thick fog. For a long time, they may have denied what they felt for you. They might have told themselves it was temporary, exaggerated, or something they could control. But real emotions don't disappear just because you try to suppress them. They shift, they sink deeper, and eventually they demand to be understood. What they're going through now is that quiet realization, the undeniable awareness that their feelings for you are real and meaningful. This understanding doesn't arrive all at once. It comes in pieces, in late-night thoughts, in silent moments, in memories that suddenly return even when they thought they had moved on. They're starting to notice patterns they once ignored. They see how often their thoughts circle back to you, how naturally your presence stays in their mind, and how nothing else has been able to replace what they felt with you. And with this awareness, something begins to change. They're no longer questioning whether it was real. Now they're beginning to accept that it was, and maybe still is. At the same time, your absence has had a powerful effect on them. When you're no longer there the way you once were, it creates an emotional space that's hard to fill. Your absence has forced them into reflection, whether they wanted it or not. Without your energy, your attention, or your presence, they're left alone with their own thoughts. And in that space, it becomes much harder to avoid the truth. They're starting to feel what's missing, not just in their daily life, but within themselves. Absence has a way of highlighting what truly matters. It removes distractions and reveals what may have been taken for granted. Now, they're beginning to see your value more clearly than before. The little things, the way you made them feel, the emotional depth or comfort you brought into their life, it all stands out now because it's no longer there. This realization is both painful and eye-opening. Painful because they recognize what they may have lost, and eye-opening because it forces them to see things as they really are. They may even find themselves comparing others to you without meaning to. It's not intentional. It's just that the impact you left hasn't faded, and in those comparisons, something always feels missing, something they can't quite replace. This only makes their understanding stronger. It becomes harder for them to convince themselves that you were just another experience. They're beginning to see you as something meaningful, something rare. All of this is changing them from within. The combination of emotional clarity and your absence is pushing them toward a deeper awareness, not just of you, but of themselves. They're starting to understand not only what they feel, but why they feel it. And that awareness is bringing them closer to a decision they can't keep avoiding. Inside them, there's a quiet but intense struggle happening. It's not something you can easily see, but it's shaping everything they think and feel. Fear and desire are no longer separate. They're colliding, pulling them in completely opposite directions. On one side, there's a strong pull toward you. It feels natural, almost instinctive, like being close to you connects them to a deeper part of who they are. This feeling isn't shallow or temporary. It carries warmth, depth, and a sense of connection they haven't been able to find anywhere else. It's the part of them that wants to reach out, to close the distance and to finally stop resisting something that feels so real. But on the other side, there's fear, just as strong, just as persistent. And this fear isn't really about you. It's about what loving you represents. It brings up memories of past pain, times when vulnerability led to hurt, moments where trust didn't hold. These memories may not always be obvious, but they quietly influence how they react. The closer they feel to you emotionally, the louder that fear becomes. It warns them to be careful, to protect themselves, to avoid stepping into something that could hurt them again. And this creates a constant push and pull inside them that feels overwhelming. One moment, they may feel ready to accept everything they feel, to move forward without hesitation. In those moments, their desire feels stronger than their fear, and they can imagine a future where they fully embrace this connection. But then, suddenly, the fear returns. It brings doubt, hesitation, and the urge to pull back. It makes them question everything, whether this is the right path, whether they're ready, whether they can handle the depth of it all. What makes this even harder is that both sides feel real to them. Their desire feels true, but so does their fear. This isn't a simple situation where one feeling can be ignored. They're dealing with two powerful forces, both demanding to be heard. That's why their behavior might seem inconsistent or confusing at times. It's not because they're unsure about you. It's because they're struggling to understand and manage what's happening inside themselves. As this inner conflict continues, it starts to wear down their defenses. They can't stay in this space forever. Eventually, something has to give. Either their fear will keep them at a distance, holding on to control and safety, or their desire will lead them forward, choosing connection even if it comes with uncertainty. This isn't just about making a decision, it's about choosing who they want to be. And as this pressure builds, they're being pushed toward a point where they can no longer avoid the truth. They can't keep ignoring how deeply they feel or how much this connection has affected them. The tension between fear and desire is forcing them to face themselves honestly. And through that, they're being brought closer to a decision that will shape what happens next. There's a defining moment approaching in their life, one they won't be able to delay much longer. No matter how much they try to delay it, they can't avoid what's coming. Up until now, they've been stuck in a space of hesitation, going back and forth in their mind, overthinking, analyzing, and trying to keep control over something that no longer feels controllable. But the mind doesn't allow this kind of indecision forever. When emotions become this deep and thoughts keep repeating, they eventually demand an answer. That's exactly where they are now, standing at the edge of a moment where they have to choose a direction. This isn't sudden or impulsive. It's been building over time through everything they've felt, the confusion, the longing, the fear, and all the reflection. Whether they fully see it or not, they're being guided toward clarity. You can already see the signs. The way they revisit the past, the way they imagine different futures, the emotional weight they carry when they think about you, none of this is random. It's all pointing toward a truth that's trying to settle within them. As this moment gets closer, their emotions may feel even stronger. They might seem more distant, more thoughtful, or even restless at times. But that doesn't mean they're losing interest. It means they're processing something important. This kind of decision isn't just about what they do on the outside. It's about aligning with something real inside themselves that they can't ignore anymore. And that creates pressure, like time is pushing them to stop avoiding and finally choose. They're starting to realize that staying in this in-between space, neither holding on nor fully letting go, is draining them. It's exhausting mentally and emotionally, and it's keeping them stuck. So whether they feel ready or not, they're being pushed to take responsibility for what they feel and what they truly want. This choice will require honesty, not just about you, but about themselves. They'll have to face their emotions without filtering them through fear or doubt. They'll have to ask themselves real questions: what this connection means to them, what they're willing to risk, and whether they're ready for something that asks them to grow. That's why it's taken so long. These aren't easy things to face. What makes this moment so powerful is that it carries a sense of direction. Not necessarily an instant ending or beginning, but a turning point that defines what comes next. It will decide whether they keep resisting or finally allow themselves to fully feel what's been there all along. There's a quiet shift happening inside them. The confusion that once clouded everything is slowly being replaced by a need for clarity. The hesitation that once felt like protection is now starting to feel like a burden. They're beginning to understand that avoiding the decision doesn't keep them safe. It just keeps them stuck. And because of that, they're moving closer to choosing. Not out of pressure, but because they can no longer deny what's real. What's happening now isn't temporary. It's a deeper process that's bringing their true feelings to the surface in a way that can't be hidden anymore. For a long time, they may have tried to mask what they felt, even from themselves. They used logic, distraction, or distance to stay in control and avoid something that felt too intense. But the stronger the feeling, the harder it is to suppress. And now everything they've been holding back is starting to come through clearly. This isn't about impulsive decisions. It's about reaching a point where they can no longer deny what's been building inside them. What matters now isn't what they've said before or how they acted. It's what remains when all their defenses start to fall away. When someone is left alone with their thoughts long enough without distraction, they begin to see things as they really are. And that's what's happening to them. They're recognizing their own patterns, times they pulled away when they felt close, stayed silent when they wanted to speak, or let fear guide their choices instead of their heart. The confusion is fading, and in its place a deeper awareness is forming. It's not loud or dramatic. It's quiet, steady, and persistent. It shows up in the way they think about you when they're alone, in the memories that keep coming back, and in how they now see their past actions differently. They're beginning to understand not just what happened between you, but what it actually meant. And that meaning is becoming harder to ignore. As this continues, their true feelings start to separate from everything else. Fear, doubt, and outside influences begin to lose their hold, while the core emotion becomes clearer. It's like layers are being peeled back, revealing something that was always there underneath. And once they fully see it, they can't unsee it. They're also realizing that trying to control or suppress these feelings didn't work the way they thought. If anything, it made those feelings stronger over time. By avoiding them, they only allowed them to grow quietly in the background. Now everything is rising to the surface and they can't ignore it anymore. This is where everything becomes clear. It's not just about what they choose to do, but the understanding behind that choice. Whether they move toward you or away, it will come from clarity, not confusion. And in that moment, something inside them settles. The noise, the doubt, the overthinking. It starts to quiet down. What's left is a sense of certainty that feels real and grounded. This is the point where their true feelings stand clearly in front of them. No more hiding, no more questioning, just truth. And whatever they decide from here, it will carry that truth with it, because they can no longer pretend they don't know how they feel. What makes this kind of situation so intense is that it's not just about feelings, it's about identity. When someone experiences a connection that reaches them on a deeper level, it doesn't just affect how they see you, it begins to challenge how they see themselves. That's why the reaction is rarely simple. It's not just, I like this person or I don't. It becomes, am I ready to become the version of myself that this connection requires? And that question can feel overwhelming. People often underestimate how powerful emotional recognition can be. When someone realizes that a connection is real and meaningful, it disrupts the comfort of denial. Before that point, they can hide behind distractions, logic, or distance. But once clarity starts forming, those defenses stop working. That's when everything becomes more intense. Thoughts become repetitive, emotions feel heavier, and even small reminders can trigger deeper reflection. Another important layer here is timing. Even when two people share something real, it doesn't always mean both are ready at the same time. One person might already be open, clear, and willing, while the other is still dealing with fear, past experiences, or emotional limitations. That mismatch creates the push and pull dynamic you've been describing. It's not necessarily about lack of care, it's about lack of readiness. There's also the role of emotional memory. When someone has felt something genuine, their mind doesn't just forget it easily. Even if they try to move on, their subconscious keeps bringing it back in different ways, through comparison, through nostalgia, or even through an unexplained sense that something is missing. That's why your absence becomes so powerful. It removes distraction and forces them to sit with what they truly feel instead of avoiding it. At a deeper level, this entire process is about integration. They're trying to bring together two parts of themselves, the part that wants connection and the part that wants safety. Until those two sides come into alignment, there will always be conflict. But once they do align, that's when clarity becomes solid and decisions become firm. It's also worth understanding that real emotional decisions don't happen instantly. From the outside, it might seem like someone suddenly decides, but internally, that decision has been forming for a long time. Every thought, every memory, every moment of distance or longing contributes to it. By the time they finally act, they're not reacting. They're concluding something they've been processing deeply. And regardless of the outcome, this kind of experience changes a person. Whether they move toward you or choose to walk away, they won't see things the same way they did before. Because once someone becomes aware of a connection that felt real, they can't fully go back to who they were before it. For you, the most important thing is understanding where your control ends. You can't force someone's emotional timing, and trying to do so often creates resistance instead of clarity. What you can do is stay grounded in your own awareness. Recognize what you felt, what you offered, and what you deserve in return. In situations like this, the truth always surfaces eventually. It might take time, and it might come in a way you don't expect, but it does come. And when it does, it tends to be clear, direct, and undeniable, because by that point, there's nothing left to hide from. What makes this kind of emotional experience so powerful is that it forces people out of autopilot. Most of the time, people move through relationships based on comfort, habit, or surface-level attraction. But when a connection reaches deeper, it disrupts that pattern. It introduces feelings that can't be easily explained or controlled, and that alone can be unsettling. It's not just about liking someone, it's about feeling seen, challenged, and emotionally affected in a way that leaves a lasting imprint. One of the key dynamics at play here is resistance. When emotions become intense, the natural reaction for many people is to pull back, not because they don't care, but because they care more than they expected to. That level of depth can trigger fears tied to past experiences, fear of loss, fear of rejection, or even fear of losing control. So instead of moving closer, they hesitate. This hesitation often gets misunderstood as disinterest, when in reality it can mean the opposite. There's also a psychological process happening where the mind tries to regain stability. When something feels overwhelming, people attempt to rationalize it. They might downplay the connection, focus on flaws, or convince themselves that it's not as meaningful as it feels. But genuine emotions tend to resist that kind of control. They keep resurfacing, often stronger than before, because they're rooted deeper than logic. Another layer to this is emotional timing and readiness. Two people can feel something real, but if one of them hasn't reached the point where they're ready to face their own emotions honestly, it creates imbalance. That's where confusion and inconsistency come in. One moment, they may feel open and connected, and the next, they withdraw. It's not always intentional. It's the result of internal conflict that hasn't been resolved yet. Absence plays a crucial role in all of this. When someone is no longer constantly present, it removes the immediate comfort they provided and replaces it with reflection. Without distraction, the mind naturally starts revisiting memories, replaying moments, and trying to make sense of what was felt. This is often when clarity begins to form, because there's no longer anything masking the truth. At a deeper level, this entire process is about emotional alignment. A person has to reach a point where what they feel internally matches what they're willing to act on externally. Until that happens, there will always be a gap between their emotions and their behavior. But once alignment is reached, decisions become clearer and more decisive. It's also important to understand that clarity doesn't always mean the outcome will match expectations. Sometimes clarity leads someone toward the connection, and sometimes it leads them away. But either way, the decision becomes more honest. It's no longer based on confusion, avoidance, or fear alone. It comes from understanding. For you, the challenge is learning how to exist without trying to control that process. When you're emotionally invested, it's natural to want answers or movement, but pushing for that too early can interfere with the very clarity that needs to form. Real decisions, especially emotional ones, take time because they require someone to confront parts of themselves they may have avoided for a long time. In the end, experiences like this tend to leave a lasting impact on both people involved. Whether the connection continues or not, it changes how they see relationships, emotions, and even themselves. Because once someone has felt something that real, they can't completely return to who they were before. It becomes a reference point for everything that comes after. This was never just about a connection between two people. It was about a truth that refused to stay hidden. No matter how much they questioned, resisted, or delayed, their feelings have led them to a place where clarity can no longer be ignored. What they choose now will come from who they truly are, not who fear once made them. And whatever path they take, it will carry the weight of something real, something that changed them and cannot be undone.